Okay, so to make our earrings today, we're going to be including some vegan suede. We have some hammered rings, and we have these lovely charms. I know I use these all the time in my demos, but I just love them because they're double-sided, so you can decide which side you want to have. And I love that versatility. We also have some ear wires, we have some ribbon ends, some jump rings, some head pins, and 2 different colors of check glass. We also, for our tools, are going to be using our bent chain nose pliers, our chain nose pliers, our round nose pliers, and our cutters. So let's get started. So the first thing we want to do is take our vegan suede, and I know a lot of people get after me for calling it vegan suede, but what else am I supposed to call it? I don't know. So that's what we call it in the store, and that's what I'm going to continue to call it. So we're going to cut that in half. So you could use a pair of scissors, but you know, if you've been watching me long enough, you know that I don't ever have scissors. But what I do want to try to do is get it in the middle as close as I can. So I'm going to cut that in the middle. And you can see that that really kind of made it go off. It's okay. It doesn't have to be a perfect measurement. We're going to fix that in a second. So the first thing I'm going to do now, well, it's not the first thing. The second thing I guess I'm going to do is I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to make sure that they're now both even. So this is probably where scissors would come in handy, but you know, I never have them. So now I have 2 pieces that are identical. Then I'm going to take those 2 pieces and I'm going to cut them in half. So we're going to run into the same issue again. So I'm going to try and get that as close as I can to the middle. I really get kind of, you know, particular on this one and try to get it in the middle because I don't want to lose a lot of length. And then I'm going to repeat on the other one. So fold that in half. Kind of scrunch it down. And the reason why it goes off center is because these are flush cutters and they aren't scissors. Scissors would probably be a little bit straighter. But I don't worry about that stuff. I just deal with the problems after. So now what I want to do is get all 4 pieces in my hand and line them all up on one side. So those are pretty close. And then I'm going to get them together. And those are pretty darn close. But, you know, if you want to be really particular, you could trim them off. It'll make it a little bit easier for making the earrings if they're pretty close. So I'm just going to clean up all my little bits here. So, you know, there's the odd little one here that's kind of sticking off, and it doesn't really matter, but we want to have them as close as we can. So those are pretty good. So I'm going to put away 2 for now because I'm only going to be working on 1 earring. So I'm just going to sort of remove the components for another earring here because it can get a little congested as far as showing you things when there's just too many things on my table here. So, all right, so I'm going to take these 2 little pieces that I've now created, and I'm going to run them through my beautiful distressed ring that I have happening there. And I'm going to align these all up. So I'm going to line the back to the front. So it just takes a little bit of, you know, sort of futzing about. And what I want to do is sort of scrunch them together until they're nice and even. So you can see that when I've got those together, they're all the same length and they're nice and compact and tight together. I don't want to have one that's like lower than the other or have them split apart. I want to have them nice and tight together like that. And now I'm going to take my little 5mm cord end, and we do sell these in the store singularly, but in the kit you will get 2 of them. That is if you decide to buy a kit. And you can see that it just about covers almost perfectly the 2 pieces of vegan suede there. So that's why we want to make sure that they're nice and snug together. So before I crimp this down, I give my vegan suede a little sort of smush there. And yes, smush is my technical term for the day. And then I'm going to take my pliers and go over top and just give it a little tiny squish down. I don't want to fully squish it. I just want to make sure that everything's lining up. And then once I'm pretty confident that it is where I want it to be, I'm going to push a little harder. Now you don't want to go up here in this area because that will ruin the shape of the crimp. So you're just going to sort of focus your energies down here. You can turn it over and do equal pressure on the other side. So now we're left with this, and that's exactly what we want. These are really simple. You can't get much more simple. But the reason I put these together was I wanted something kind of neutral. And I thought that this sort of grayed out kind of tone was very nice and neutral and would go with everything. So now we have our larger, this is a 6mm 18 gauge jump ring. So I'm going to take one side of it with my pliers and the bent chain nose in the other and give it little opposites. Now you can turn this whichever way you want. You can turn it this way, or you can turn it that way, depending on how you're feeling in the day. So I think this way, I'm going to turn it like that. So again, you can always turn them around if you decide, oh, I like the other side better. You just open up the jump ring and then turn it around. So I need to make sure that that jump ring is open up a little bit wider. There we go. And then close that up. So now we've got this happening. So again, these are really simple, but I just thought they were kind of a very Kellie earring and kind of fun and easy to make. All right, so now I'm going to put on one of my 4mm fire polish onto the head pin, and I want to create a little bit of a neck. These are pretty heavy duty, so I'm not going to do my double wrap that I normally do because we're working with a glass bead, and I'm always afraid that I'm going to break them. So I just did a little bend away, and now I'm going to go down towards the bottom of my round nose pliers and do my wrapped loop. So up and over and down, rotate my pliers, pull that to the back, and just kind of make sure that it's nicely lined up there. And now you could make these beforehand and then incorporate it in with the jump ring, but you know, I never think in advance of doing anything like that. So I just put that through the jump ring, and now I'm going to go on top, get a good hand grip, and then I'm going to wrap that around. And I just use my fingers. Go just 3 times, or it's probably going to be more like 2.5, because if you go too far, you're going to wrap it on the other side of that glass and you could break the glass. So you want to be careful. And I'm going to take the flush side of my cutters and I'm going to come in and give that a trim. And then I turn it towards me so I can see that little burr, and very carefully, making sure I'm not going over top of the bead. I'm going to be on this side of the bead. I want to push that burr down, but you want to be very careful that you're not breaking your glass. And trust me, over the years, I have broken a lot of glass. Now, if you're afraid of getting too close and not being able to do it with your hands, take your bent nose pliers and get them in like that, and then you can isolate it a little bit better and then come in and give it a little crimp down. So these are invaluable. If you do not own a pair of bent chain nose pliers, I don't even know how you would make jewelry, because I use them for all the things. All right, so now we have to decide where we're going to put the next charm. If you want to have a mirrored image, you know, you might want to make it opposite to the other one that you've made. So, you know, you can have both sort of silvery blue ones on one side and the sort of bronzy ones on the other. It depends on, you know, if you like things to look opposite or identical. So I tend to do on earrings, I tend to do sort of an opposite kind of thing. All right, so now we have our second little charm here. We're going to run that through on here. And then I'm just going to turn it over and then wrap that up. So again, just basic earrings, but you know, we all need good earrings in our jewelry wardrobe. And it's always nice to have the versatility of something, you know, neutral. And then again, we're going to come in, and I'm going to use my bent chain nose pliers because I didn't do a really great wrap on that, and I definitely don't want to get too close to this. So I'm going to come in here and very carefully push that down. And if you know, if it makes you nervous to push the burr down, then don't. Like, that is sticking out a little bit further than I like, so I'm going to get in there and muscle it. But I'm taking the risk of cracking that. There, just one little push and it popped right into place. All right, so that's exactly what I wanted. So now I'm going to take my ear wire and I'm going to open that up. And then I'm going to run this through the top piece there. And I'm going to just do this up. I just kind of wiggle it back and forth. So let me just clean up my mat here and I'll show you the completed pair. All right, so there we go. There's our fun little vegan suede, neutral colored earrings. I don't think these could get much easier. And I think even if you're a beginner and you've never made any jewelry before, this is something that you could easily tackle. If you struggle with making the wrapped loops, then look back into some of my older videos where I really go into depth on how to create the perfect wrap loop. So I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please make sure to give me a thumbs up, leave me a comment because I do love to hear from everybody, and make sure if you haven't subscribed to my channel that you do. This will be available in kit form. You just go down into the description box below this video and there will be a link that takes you directly to my fully secure website where we have this kit, lots of other kits, and everything that you need, actually over 7,000 items, everything that you need to create beautiful jewelry. So I want to thank you so much for watching, and we will see you on the next one.